Hello and welcome to another Tales from a Professional Nerd. This is Bryan Steele, and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hi, how is everyone today? I'll wait. Okay, I'm done waiting. I'm doing good. Let's jump in real quick to the week in Bryan before we get into a fun little episode today, which I will give thanks to the company and person responsible shortly when we actually get into it. Professionally, it is work. We've got some cool Warzone stuff happening. Actually, I just printed off a set of the new, some of the new demo models. Gonna hopefully have some fully realized demo teams. You guys actually might be able to hear my printer running in the background if you listen. Maybe not. I don't know how directional my microphone actually is. But hopefully, when things start to progress and get a little closer to when we are going to hit the go button again, you'll get to see some cool previews of new models, some very cool demo sets that we are going to be putting together to show at conventions and things. And probably get at least another battle report or two filmed using the new models. But yeah, so some cool stuff's happening there on that front. And then obviously my most of my day is taken up with Power Rangers stuff. Currently working on a Power Rangers book. Can't say exactly what it is yet, but it is going to be a good one. I think that a lot of the Power Rangers fans are going to be over the moon, no pun intended, about the contents of this particular source book. But yeah, that's really about it work-wise. I don't have any commission painting right now. I mailed off some models to Peter, and he seems to be very happy with them and eager to get them on the table for his role-playing games. Yeah, so when last we met, let's see, between then and now I played in my friend his homebrew D&D game, the Waking Realms game. We had a good session. It wasn't really a combat session. It was a lot of planning, a lot of sneaking around, getting ourselves into a position where I think the next session will probably be, hey everybody, welcome to the session, roll initiative. I think it's going to be kind of that sort of thing. I am back on the weight loss ladder. I had gained back about 10 pounds since I sort of had fallen off the wagon for all the conventions and birthdays and holidays and things. But then now that I am not strictly back on it, just because with so much going on, it's a little harder to prep everything. But it is I am back down another from that regain of 10. I've started to work my way back towards where I was. So. And hopefully I'll work my way there and then just keep on going. That would be great if that worked out. Yeah, so that's really games I've played. I'm a little over 2/3 of the way to we're at the halfway point of the month, and I'm over 2/3 of the way to the 30 hours of video games played specifically for blood cancer awareness. Still taking donations for that as well. The link is in the description of the video. Yeah, I think that's just about it. Playing some video games. Haven't really played any miniatures games or anything recently. This upcoming weekend, I've got not one but two D&D games that I play in, or three if you count Friday night. Wow. Yeah, so I've got three. I got D&D back to back to back this weekend. I am going to be. I'm going to have lots of stuff to tell you about role playing next week. It'll probably be a very long week in Bryan next week. But yeah, so that's really it. The week in Bryan came and went. The things here at Casa de Steel have been all right, I suppose. Found out that one of our basement windows is broken out, and that some wonderful local animal has been sneaking into my basement. So I got to get that fixed. But other than that, it's been a pretty, I mean, I would say a basic week, but it's been a good week. My son started tennis lessons, kind of out of the blue. Didn't know that he was interested at all. And then a couple of his friends that he plays video games with, they apparently they take tennis lessons with this company or this trainer, and they talked him in, got him interested, talked him into taking tennis lessons, and he had his first official lesson last night. And I guess by the time you see this, it'll be later, but not only did he really enjoy it, but he kind of took to it, like kind of was, I don't want to be that dad that's like my son. No, but apparently he was kind of a natural. He got good hand-eye coordination, and which video games did that a great deal. But he sounds like he's going to stick with it. And honestly, dealing with a teenager and getting them to stick with anything beyond their primary focus, that's huge. Aside from that, also I don't know who it was, but I will say thank you. So I always have my Amazon wish list up on the descriptions to the description. I always have my Amazon wish list in the description of every video in case you want to do something and buy something for the show or say thank you to me for anything like that. And one of the things that I had on there was a 6-pack of Earn Brew. Iron Brew. I always thought it was Earn Brew, but my wife saw it and said, "What's Iron Brew?" And I'm like, "Oh, I think you added extra syllables." I think I've mentioned it on the show before, but I got addicted to this when I lived in Norway and the UK a long time ago, and it's kind of expensive to get here in the States because you have to get it like through an import thing, grocer, whatever. And so I don't buy it very often, but I do have it as a standing purchase on my Amazon wish list. And somebody sent me a 6-pack of Earn Brew. So whoever you are, thank you. And for the next, hopefully they'll last more than 2 days. But for the next couple of days, I will have my amazing, my amazing UK beverage, and I will enjoy it. And with every sip, I will think of you wonderful fans collectively. All right. So speaking of collective fans collectively, and just kind of wonderful people, I have been in contact with several companies in the industry trying to line up products to show off things that I personally believe in, that I dig, and I would like other people to take a look at. And one of my very, very close friends, and one of the people I've known in the industry a very long time, his name is Ross Thompson. He is amazing. I think of the people in the industry, not to besmirch anyone else, I think Ross is one of the most genuine and just like the kind of person who really honestly would, if you were cold, give you the shirt off their back. Ross he's just a great guy, and when we ran into him at Gen Con, sadly I only ever, aside from talking to him electronically, I only ever get to see him at conventions. And when we ran into him at Gen Con, I had mentioned that He is an employee over at Steamforge Games. And I had mentioned that my wife and I really, really love the Epic Encounters boxes, and that we have slowly acquired almost all of them except for some of the originals. Well, Ross, being the amazing marketing guru that he is, hooked me up with two, technically four boxes, but it's two of the location sets. Some of the first ones that they made, the ones that I was having a hard time getting a hold of. So in exchange for his amazing generosity to kind of complete our collection, I am going to show you just how fantastic these products are. I know that I've mentioned Epic Encounters before. I definitely have done an unboxing on some of them here on the channel, but today we are going to specifically focus on these older boxes, and to give you an idea that these were some of the first ones that were in the line. They've got, I think now at this point, they're working on releasing like their, I think maybe like the 18th box, which makes it like the 8th or 9th setting. They're amazing. They really, really are. And not only are they a good price deal, you'll see when we get into the box, but they're a great way to introduce someone to D&D. They're a great way to have, if you are a never before DM and you're like, I don't have any ideas, I need somebody to kind of help me, but I'm not ready to dive into a full deep narrative. They're fantastic that way, and when we start opening up these boxes, you'll understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. There is one caveat, however, I will point this out, is because they are not actually a Wizards of the Coast D&D product. There is some variance in how some of the way things are written in the books. It's obvious, it's super easy to understand, and anything that you run into that you might go, it is normally left open specifically. So as a DM, you can make the choices, figure out where you want to put it. I do believe that the authors may have expected you to be leveling up a lot faster than some games allow, just because some of the encounters that we've seen in previous boxes, some of the individual fights are a little tough, even with the lower difficulties and the lower damages and stuff for being a starting level adventure. They're a little tough on a few of these. A couple of things that they created, I think they may not have realized that starting out, you might not have all of the resources to deal with that. But if you, again, any DM worth their salt is going to read through everything and plan everything out, and hopefully they'll have a good concept of, okay, this encounter's too tough, 7 kobolds is too many, let's only do 4 because I don't have that tough of a group. Or, oh, my group is 6 people instead of 4, maybe I need to add another serpent rider, or whatever. They are great baseline sets, and we'll get into them in just a second. Real quick before I do get into the unboxing, I do want to go ahead and say that last week's episode, the Q&A with a Gamer #1, was a success. Not only have I gotten a lot of really good feedback from you guys, whether it's in the comments or whether it's, personal messages on Facebook. I got one email. Maybe this was the thank you. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, Q&A with the Gamer will definitely continue. There will absolutely be more episodes that are devoted to a sideline, someone playing or maybe selling. If I could get a game store owner or something on the horn, that might be really cool. But whatever we end up doing, there will definitely be more Q&A with the gamer. And I hope that those of you who are watching, if you haven't seen episode 158, you should. And it was really cool. James asked a bunch of really good questions. We had some good conversation. And beyond all of that, I've received word from some other people that the topics, even if it was something that they had already heard one answer from, it was nice to hear a live discussion, some of the thought process behind it, and I hope that will be more of what we do going down the road. I plan, if everything goes right, I plan to have one Q&A with a gamer a month. And I believe my next one is already, the one for October is already lined up. I have to verify with him, but one of our demo staff, one of the Renegade Games demo staff from Gen Con, who was running Essence 20 for lots of different players, lots of different people, and who is part of an at-home Power Rangers game, apparently. I've extended the invite for them to come onto the show and come up with some cool questions to talk about. So, should be pretty cool. But all of that aside, that's not why you clicked on this thumbnail. Maybe it is. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Let's pop open these boxes and take a look at Epic Encounters. Dun, 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 dun. So, one of the very first ones, it might have been the very first. I don't know the order they came out. This one is, because they're not numbered. I don't think they're numbered. Are they numbered? I don't see a number. So this one is, you know what, I'm going to open it first. So that way, I'm going to open it first so that way the shine, the cellophane doesn't, the shrink wrap doesn't blind you when my bar light shines off of it. All right, here we go. Also, that way you know that this is my initial instinct, or my initial view as well. All right, so this one is called The Hall of the Orc King. You'll never guess what the bad guys are in this. Gnolls! No, that's not true, they're orcs. All right, so pop open the box. It's got this wonderful dual layout. One of the things that I absolutely love about the Epic Encounter boxes are these maps. They're small-ish, but they're very heavily charactered. Like, this is a nice open frozen field. Super cool. And then inside, there's a frozen, looks like maybe a, oh, well, I'm assuming it's the Hall of the Orc King, but like there's this big, like kind of idol area, big like offering pit, a table. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's very, very cool. I dig it. All right, let's see if we can figure out how to close it though. There we go. All right, so, and then there's this wonderful little staple-bound booklet for Hall of the Orc King, which gives us the adventure overview, the how to run this, the adventure itself. Gives you a nice little background that you could fit this into any kind of frozen mountaintop. It's got a cool chart for weather while you're on the frozen mountaintop, and then we get into the actual like not the adventure encounters themselves. So we've got basically it shows you the map. It shows you the map and it shows where the different encounters would possibly be lined up if this is where you want to be. If this is where you want to be. It's got cool concepts, and then eventually, you know, it tells you what happens when you get into the hall, and it's got everything labeled as to what's in the hall. Yeah, it's just really cool stuff. Rules for if you drink orc grog. That's cool. Yeah, just great stuff. Just great stuff. The art is always awesome. And then, of course, there is stats for the different critters that they have set up specifically for their game. Now, this is what I was talking about, that even though these are orcs, and even though these are laid out for use for D&D 5e, they are not necessarily exactly balanced by the nature of the monster manual. But whether or not that's the case, it doesn't matter. It's still very cool, and the fact that you have these right here, you can gauge as to whether or not, because there's no real like, looking at this, it doesn't have a challenge rating here. Oh, I guess it does up in the corner. Well, they're not. This one might. I'm looking at the challenge rating here, and it might not be. I don't know. They've got this basic Grimfang orc at challenge rating 1/2. Well, okay. He does a decent amount of damage, but his armor class is kind of low, and he's got 15 hit points. You know, I'd have to see it in play to see just how scary these might be. And then all the way on the back, the back of the book, it's got the contents, so I can actually show you what these cool miniatures actually are. All right, if I can get them open. I'm sure that's a bunch of racket into my microphone. So it looks like we have lots of different things here. I dig it. So I mentioned the Grimfang Orc, and now it says there are 6 Grimfang Orcs, and there's 2 of them shown. There are two sculpts shown here, one that has a spear and one that has a bow. All right, let me move my keyboard out of the way so I can set this down. All right. So we have the Grimfang Orc with spear, which is pretty cool, in this sort of like light blue plastic. Very well put together, very like they're not bendy board game material. It's good. And then the other 3 Grimfang orcs have longbows. So you actually have some cool orc archers. And they're big too, big and bulky dudes. After that, we have 2 Grimfang gladiators. And that's these guys. They're naked dudes with kind of cleaver swords. See, and something like that would actually make for a pretty cool, like, half-orc barbarian if you just wanted to have this model. And then there are 2 Slaughterkin Orogs. So these are the orc ogre crossbreeds. Man, these are beefy boys. Cool. I got this big heavy flail. That's a big dude. He looks like so he's on a bigger base. He's not quite on a large scale base. So this is one of the things that we did run into with one of the other encounter boxes, is that there were size issues. Not bad by any stretch, but like this base, if I pick up the map, this base is actually a little bigger than 1 square. These orcs actually don't fit in one inch square. They kind of get here. So if I put 2 next to each other, they don't. They're gonna scoot each other around. They're gonna. They should have been based slightly smaller, even though they are still big dudes. But that's neither here nor there. Because with D&D 5e, as soon as you move up to large, you are on a 4x4, or a 2x2. You take up 4 squares. So making these guys large, they would almost be too big, and I guess making them a little smaller and putting them on the regular size bases makes them a little too small. So I get it. For me, it's just maybe it's an aesthetic thing. I don't know. But there's the Slaughterkin. Then we have two. What are you? You are. Oh, cool. This is the Grimfang Orc Grog Master. It is an orc with a keg on his back and two frothy mugs. Okay, I won't lie. I kind of want to play like a half-orc drunken monk that fights with that fights with studded ale mugs and use this model. Yeah, that's really cool. What else we have? We have two Grimfang, we have one Grimfang Shaman, and that's this cat right here. He's just kind of a guy holding a knife and a skull, and he looks like he's got his mouth open, like maybe he's casting a spell. Then we have two Grimfang Orc Cooks. Oh man. See, now this is really cool. He's got a cleaver and like this big bone saw sword axe thing, but he also has like a basket full of meat chunks, like a little iron cauldron off to his hip. See, this would be this is a very characterful bad guy to come across. And then there is one Grimfang Orc King. So this is the king's big bearded armored orc with a hammer. He is the king. He's got his big long cloak. That's cool. And then the actual biggest models in here, we have four Grimfang Grimfang Orcs mounted on ice shelf polar bears. So we have polar bear orc cavalry, which is pretty cool. They've got spears and longbows on their backs, or spears on their backs and longbows. That's very cool. So that is really, really neat. I love, again, that they're so, even though they are definitely still D&D in the theme, they are so full. I gotta grab the box. I dropped it. They are so full of their own individuality. They could have easily just been like, here's some orcs and an orc village, and here's the orc bad guys. Instead, they made these into like polar mountain orcs, and I dig it. So Hall of the Orc King, very, very cool. And then, just like I had mentioned before, the Epic Encounter boxes, they have a baseline chapter, which is like the Hall of the Orc King, and then there's a boss that they have that you can use by itself. You could use it as its own individual thing, but it's also designed for you to connect to its likewise stuff. And in this case, that first one is Caverns of the Frost Giant. So let's get this popped open. And to help those people who are maybe don't have the greatest of memories, or maybe they're unboxing all of their stuff and putting on a shelf, if they're from the same narrative chunk, they make them out of the same plastic, the same color plastic. So in this case, those polar ice orcs, those Grimfang orcs, they were all that kind of that ice blue. This frost giant will also be in that same plastic, so that way, just looking at it, you know. All right, so come straight out of the box. First things first, we have a token set. Oh, those are cool. Okay, I like these. So 6 of the tokens are two-sided. While I haven't read the adventure itself, I know exactly what this is, because you look on the front, we've got nets and spears and pokey sticks that I'm assuming, because the other side is just snow, that's going to be basically traps that you get to put out onto the board, and depending on how you get by, they're going to flip and see what kind it is. That's cool. Then the other 12 counters on here are just Grimfang orcs. So they do this with the boss boxes, is in case you don't have the other box, the previous chapter, so to speak. In case you don't have that, they give you these tokens that represent basically the minions of this boss leading up to the boss fight. So you can use them. If you've got the earlier box, you can just use the minis from there instead of the counters, that kind of thing. All right, comes with a cool map. Let's see what map we have. I'm assuming it's going to be frozen. It is. We have a big long cavern. Looks almost like it has like an underground river in it a little bit. It's a very, very long, very twisty cavern, and then the other side is more twists, but a very big room here in the end. So, oh, and a way out. This is pretty cool. I like that. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I thought I saw in the art. There was a like a buried dragon. That was not the case. It was just weird rocks. All right, and then we have the book itself, which again is very big, very thick for being a boss fight. And so it has some cool background on it, how this guy's connected to the Grimfang orcs, some tips on how to use the different terrain, and then a whole bunch of interesting things based on the map. The three types of traps: spike pits, wall darts, and falling nets. And then, oh, I hadn't seen this before. This is cool. So it's got a best way to have the frost giant fight go. So like what he does, and so forth and so on. That's neat. His different abilities that he can do. What treasure he might have, and then some stats. Yeah, no, it's very cool. Oh, neat. And there's 3 different levels of Frost Giant based off of how tough you need. That's cool. I like that. And then, of course, at the very end, it's got the hey, if you have it, if you don't already have it, an advertisement for Hall of the Orc King. But let's take a look at them. Let's take a look at this big fella. And when I say big, I mean it. The Frost Giant, Caverns of the Frost Giant. So Frost Giants are big critters in D&D, but I actually think that this guy might be almost like Frost Giant Lord sized. Like he's even bigger than. Oh God, he's gorgeous though. He's okay. Having a hard time holding it up. All right. So he's got little pokey things that he puts his foot into. He's got pegs to hold him in. Get on there. He's also very spiky. Okay. He's not. Oh, Brian. I'm not going to glue him on, but yeah, man, he's cool. So he's on this very big base, so he's taking up the size of the footprint that he needs, but he is a big, big boy. He's got a giant, huge, I mean, like literally, he's very big. He's a very, very big monster. And just looking at, he's got some great detail on him. He's got several swords stuck into his feet. Or into his shins. He's got a thrown axe stuck in his abs. Like he just doesn't even know that they're there. One of his shin guards is made from... Actually, both of his shin guards are made from armor and weapons, obviously dropped. And the bodies of like half bodies or half pelts of wolves. I'll see if you can get a good look at that. like they're wolves lashed together with weapons and armor to make his greaves. That's very cool. And then he has a elk carcass just tied to his thing, a snack for later. Yeah, just lots of really cool details on this cat. Painting him is going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. And once he's on his base, he's hard to get off. Okay. So that's neat. That's a very cool adventure. No pun intended. Cool, cold. Yeah, I dig that. I dig that a lot. Hopefully, we will be able to get into that at some point. So that is the first two. Like I said, I'm not sure if that was the actual first one or not, but I do know it was one of the very, very early ones, and that's the reason why I didn't get my hands on it, because the one time that I saw it, I was at a show that I didn't have wheels to take anything big home with me. All right, so what else? Next up, we have two more boxes, one more chapter. This is another one of the earlier ones that came out in 2021. This is the Labyrinth of the Goblin Czar. Labyrinth of the Goblin Czar. And if I'm correct, I think I am. This one is Subterranean. Oh, okay, this is cool. This is the first time I've seen this. So we have our map. We have our underground. We have a big layer. Obviously, that's like the Tsar's idol or his throne. It's a throne. There's a trapdoor in front of it. There's a couple little boiling pits. I'm sure there could be rules for that. But there's also a full caverny expanse on the other side. Very cool, like that. But this is the first time I've seen this. This one comes with a little cardboard token set that has 2 pit traps and a Drip Fang spider swarm. So basically, instead of making a model for everything, these couple of things that they're like, you're only gonna need a little bit, is here. That's very cool. I approve. All right, so let's get that out of the way, and then we have our Epic Encounters adventure book, which talks about. Again, it's got that same kind of intro that's, hey, different levels of how you want to play. And then we get into the adventure. The adventure is to take down into the labyrinth of the Goblin Czar. These are basically subterranean. Think of like the Moria goblins from Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. These are not free roaming, bands of goblins out in the wilderness. These are underground nuisances. We've got very cool. There's a whole table for the psychological effects of how deep darkness can affect someone. And then we got the different enemies. There's a picture of, that's cool. There's a picture of an albino goblin. Dig that. And then there's again, rules on how to use the map to build different little adventure type things. Oh, all of these goblins are albinos. Oh, cool. So these are like weird, creepy, pale underground goblins. Oh, I dig that. That's neat. It's a nice touch. We've got different rules for the things inside the maps. Then we get our stats. We have Crystal Mine Goblins, Crystal Mine Goblin Artillery Slingers, a Drip Fang Spider Cavalry, Drip Fang Spider Swarm, which is the one that's made by a counter, a Crystal Mine Goblin Assassin, Crystal Mine Goblin Witch, a Berserker Grub, gross, and the Crystal Mine Goblin Czar, who as we'll show you, is basically riding around on a creepy maggot thing. Right. And then the models we have, if I can get all the tape off. Let me get all the tape off, and then we can take a look at these cool models. So this is annoying, is what this is. Come on. And it's nice that they're well packaged. Did I get all the tape? I guess I did. Oh, yeah, I got it. All right. Sorry about that. I'm sure my microphone's not that far away from the box, so I'm sure that was probably obnoxiously loud on the cutback. All right, so what do we have here? We have 8 crystal mine goblins, which are on small bases, so they'll fit into the maps. But we have little guys with bows and daggers. So it looks like there's 3 different sculpts. We've got those. We've got ones that just have little short swords and daggers. Very cool. And then we actually have 2 of them that have daggers and like earthworm whips. Kind of cool. All right, so we got 8 of those. We have 2 goblin witches. Little short stuff sitting on like they're standing on like a little tower of mushrooms. There's 2 of them. And these are cute. I like those. We got a little staff. They're mostly kind of hunched over and all pulled in. And then we got the crystal mine artillery slingers, which they're just like the art. It's 2 goblins sitting on each other's, like one sitting on the other's shoulders, and the one on the top has a slingshot and a bag full of like little, looks like stones and clay pots, maybe. Definitely little bombs that he's flinging. That's funny. And then after that, we've got 2 crystal mine goblin assassins. These are just adorable little, I'm here to kill you. And then we have 4 of the large-based crystal mine goblins mounted on drip fang spiders. So these are pretty rad. These are full-on like spider cavalry cave goblin warriors. It's a beefy model. That's thick. And then we have 1 berserker grub, which that's exactly what it sounds like. It is basically like a young, kind of like a young purple worm. It's very cool, but it's on a big base. I mean, like it's still going to be a large critter. It's going to hold up, 4 squares, and it's very spiky, and it's got scary mouth. Yeah, almost like a very, very up-armored giant centipede. And then the boss of this thing, riding on a smaller version of one of those little grubby things, with his, he's basically got a chauffeur, is the Goblin Czar, and he's just kind of this. Let's see if I can get that to focus. He's just kind of got this sickle staff and a back banner. Which the back banner looks like it actually might be his helmet. Like maybe he can take it off and wear it. Not literally, but he's just kind of this little fat, pudgy goblin lord riding around on a maggot chariot, or kind of a fat bug chariot. I dig it. I dig it. So that is that first chapter. Those are cool. I like those. I never... And I can never get enough characterful goblins. And painting, if I get around to painting these, painting them as albinos, because they live down in these labyrinthine caverns. Very cool. All right, our last one for the day is the boss of that set, And the thing that probably will be the creepiest of the creepies for a while, at least on my table for a bit, is the Web of the Spider Tyrant. So that's right, folks. Arachnophobes be warned. Web of the Spider Tyrant, and it's a big box. This is not to be trifled with. Oop, and I throw things on the floor. All right, so this is definitely a later one. So we have our adventure book. We have the tokens. It has minions. It's got a couple of goblin witches, a bunch of just the mine goblins. It has another spider swarm, but it also has a web trap, big 4-square web trap. So that's cool. But this one, comes with the map. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, see, this is the kind of map that when you put it out on the board, everyone on the table goes, ugh. So it is an actual spider web cavern, and it's got two different versions depending on whether or not how you want to set it up. That's cool. That is a very cool map. You don't get to see very many like full character style maps, and so the concept of it being mostly web that only his guys can crawl on, very cool. But the reason why I said this is probably a further down the road than, say, the Hall of the Orc King, is because this one actually came with a how to assemble. It says Epic Encounters miniatures are designed to fit together without the need for glue. If you find the fit between your pieces is too tight out of the box, follow these simple steps to obtain the best fit possible. If you're a youngster, be sure to ask for an adult's help. Step 1, prepare some hot water. Hot tap water will usually be fine, but boiling water can also be used. Step 2, lower the plug. So like the part that fits, lower the plug in the water for 60 seconds. This will soften the plastic slightly. 3, plug the pieces together and then allow it to cool. So basically you're just sort of softening the plug of the plastic, jamming it in there, letting it do its thing. But let's even see if that's necessary. It might not even be necessary. La 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 la. Having a hard time with this. Okay. Alright, here we go. So, our friend, the Spider Tyrant. It's 2 big old pieces. We have a base that's got very rocks and web and whatnot, so it fits the motif. And then we have a very sharp, Jesus, I might be bleeding. A very sharply, be careful when you open this guy. The backs of his legs are very spiky. Here is the spider himself. The Spider Tyrant? The Spider Tyrant. And he fits just fine. It's not an issue at all. Oh, very cool. Just all raised up like he's gonna grab somebody. Rawr. Oh, gross. Again, little things on the models. So he's got, scary fangs. He's got all these sharp things. These are the pointy, sharp bits that I just think I'm bleeding because of. But on his butt, on his abdomen, so there's all these little tiny spiders crawling around on him. But there's also, in the back, there's these 2 ports, one on either side, that lead to basically the back part of the abdomen. And if you look closely, there are tiny baby spiders all throughout there. So it's like he basically has like the eggs of baby spiderdom on his back. And he just goes in the thing. Roar. But yeah, again, very big, very scary, and the kind of thing that some players may quit your game forever. Just kidding. if you put them up against. But so very cool model there. Again, came with some cool tokens. Get in there. All right, I need to set that aside. I'm making horrible noises with it. It's got the cool token set. Very cool map. And then there's the adventure book. And the adventure book, again, it's got the how to play epic encounters, the how to use the different, I mean, because the map was basically just 2 big sides, but it's got a bunch of things on how to use, like, things that you might find on the way to this chamber, so that way you're not necessarily playing the whole time on the map, but you have some cool character fill stuff, tactics on how to fight him, how to use the terrain, to psychologically mess with your players, the rules for the web itself, different things you can find. Again, the cool attack pattern for the tyrant. If you are, feeling like you may not know exactly how this critter's supposed to go. Different kinds of traps. Different kinds of minions that you might find. And then... yeah, cool. All right, and then it's got a little scene of what happens when he dies. And then we've got rules for the different levels of the Spider Tyrant. We have the Webkin, the Vilekin, and the Godkin. Rules for a Jerkfang Spider Swarm. A couple rules for the Witches and the Goblins. And then, again, get the Goblin Czar box if you want to have something cool that leads up to it. Dude, I cannot wait. I know one of the new ones that is coming out, it's not out yet, and I will definitely be getting a hold of it, it's like the Island of the Crab King, I think, or Island of the Crab Horror, something along those lines. It's basically like a beachfront layer that's got a bunch of like crab creatures and ocean, kind of ocean front bad guys, and then the big boss is, I think, like just this like giant super crab, like a super hermit crab or something. It's very, very cool. So big thanks to Steamforged Games to get those things to me. Big thanks to Ross for orchestrating that, and I hope you guys enjoy taking a look at these cool critters. And if you want to get copies for yourself, the link will be in the description of the video. As it is, I really, there are so many cool things out there. There's so many good game assets that people can use. It is hard for me to pass up really good ones and not show them to you guys. So, while there might not be anytime soon an Epic Encounters Unboxing 3, just keep your eyes peeled on Steamforged Games. They do a lot of really cool stuff, and be sure to let me know what you think in the comments. Ring that little bell, hit that bell button. Anything that you can do to help push the algorithm would be nice. And like the video, share the video with your friends, get other people to subscribe and subscribe yourself. Please be safe. Get vaccinated, get boosted, wear a mask where you have to. Leave every room a little happier than when you entered it. And above all other things, go out there, enjoy yourselves, and play some games. We'll see you in a week. Next week I have something. It'll be a good week in Bryan because of all the gaming that's happening, but also I've got something very special planned where you guys will get to see me suffer. So we'll see you in a week. Bye, guys.